Here's a direct quote from what they told him. He came home and he's like, sweetie, I've got, not really bad news, but just something I need you to know. And I'm like, okay, well, what is it? And he's like, I was asked today before signing loan papers why you plan on swinging chickens above your head and casting magic cures as a business. And I'm like, what? And he's like, yeah. He goes, they won't put the loan in your name. I have to co-sign with you. I never set out to start a business. That was never a vision. I never had a vision of myself as a businesswoman or an entrepreneur or something like that. I was a doctor, and I always had a vision of being a doctor, maybe a traveling journalist too, but those were my two visions. I was working in the emergency room and, had really busted it, to be quite honest, all through my teenage years and through my 20s, had a chaotic family. I'm the daughter of immigrants, and there's a lot of cultural stuff that I had to navigate. I was the eldest. My parents didn't have the healthiest marriage. So anyhow, I'd come from a lot of chaos, gone straight into a rigorous academic program, became a doctor, chose a high adrenaline, power pumping profession like ER, and was actually planning to move on and go into ICU and critical care medicine because I loved the procedures and I loved the adrenaline, but I got sick. I started losing hair, I had joint pain, I had brain fog, I started gaining weight. I'd started looking like a whole different version of me. But again, so many of us, just like so many people I meet, I was in my head, I was ignoring stuff, saying I'll deal with it later. And it's only when, other people around me started to say something. All of that to say, it began this journey into the world of holistic and integrative medicine. Honestly, my husband has to take credit because he was like, okay, if you're gonna study this and you're gonna answer people's questions all the time, he goes, you need to do something with this information. He goes, why don't you start in the back of my little dental practice and, you can come once or twice a week and, you don't have any expenses, don't worry about overhead and those typical business issues, just share your information, just do it because you love it. And I was like, I think I can do that. That doesn't sound too hard. And so sure enough, he and I set out, we found a space, we built the space out. The dental office was in the front, the little Atlanta Center for Holistic and Integrative Medicine was in the back with the one exam room and two little treatment rooms where I could do acupuncture because I'd become certified in acupuncture at this time. And we launched, and there was one little hiccup right before we were about to launch. I found out I was pregnant again. I had a 6-month-old, so here I am pregnant again. So it threw off my entire launch plans, and I was like, well, I'll just go have the baby and come back. And that's exactly what I did. We opened in January of 2009. I had a baby in February of 2009. I showed back up in March of 2009. And that's how it all started. This is the one piece of advice I would give anyone starting out. My vision was too small. Never put limitations on yourself or what you want to do. Vic would walk in and my patients are sitting on the floor. He's walking over them to get to his dental chairs. He's finding acupuncture needles near his dental area. But it's really hard to do acupuncture while someone's drilling teeth like 2 doors over. So the ambiance was not quite where it needed to be. And I remember clearly one day he walked in and he's looking at the whole thing and he's like, we're done. He's like, this is not gonna work anymore. He goes, you need a space and I need a space and we've got to build these and do it right. Never created problems between the two of us at home, but boy, in the business setting, it was like, okay, we gotta go our separate ways here. So we changed the name, we changed it to CentreSpringMD, and hired our first additional doctor, then hired another nurse practitioner, hired more staff, and it just has continued to grow over the years. Starting a business is a combination of grit and patience and really believing in yourself. If you're not willing to show up and work harder than everybody else around you, don't start a business. If you're not patient, which I wasn't in the early years, then don't start a business because it takes a lot of patience. And then that self-doubt, that seed of self-doubt, that negativity, maybe that's pre-wired from the time you were little, somebody said something, whatever it is, that can sabotage you. The minute you stop believing in yourself is, I think, when business owners fail. Oh God, yeah. Are you kidding? Naysayers? I couldn't get a loan. I couldn't get a business loan. My husband had to go in there and co-sign for me, even though I was the primary breadwinner at the time. I was an ER physician. He was in dental school, and I couldn't get a loan. Here's a direct quote from what they told him. He came home, and he's like, sweetie, I've got, not really bad news, but just something I need you to know. And I'm like, okay, well, what is it? And he's like, I was asked today before signing loan papers, why you plan on swinging chickens above your head and casting magic cures as a business. And I'm like, what? And he's like, yeah. He goes, they won't put the loan in your name. I have to co-sign with you. You've got to be kidding me. I'm the one earning the money in this family. And he's like, they just don't believe in it. They don't believe in holistic. They don't believe in, they don't even know what integrative is. What is she integrating? Is the question I got. The second naysayer was my medical community. What are you doing? You're going from ER ICU to what? And I had somebody else say, why would you risk your name and your reputation to do this, to go so outside of the box in medicine? Why would you take that risk? My mom, I don't know what you're doing, but whatever, her greatest highlight for all my career achievements was when I was a assistant or adjunct professor at Emory, because she was all about the academics. She didn't care about the media appearances. She didn't care that I started a business, but she was, oh my gosh, professor, yeah, that's good, professor. And here's where the right partner, and I don't want to get emotional, but the right partner in life and the right partner in business, of course, is ultimately, it really seals your fate. The one person who did not doubt, not believe, waver, question was Vic. He never doubted. He was like, I just have a premonition, this thing is needed, you're gonna be huge. He goes, we just need to do this. He never doubted, and he put his own name on the line, his own future earnings on the line, to make that happen. So it's been an incredible gift and a blessing, and I couldn't be more honored to be in this work. Don't forget to subscribe. I post new videos every Thursday. Check it out.